We left the historic city of Cordoba to visit the beautiful city of Granada. Two splendid and culturally rich cities. We arrived in Granada on a cloudy Sunday. The church bells were ringing and the city parks were filled with music. Granada is a historic city, rich in traditions and culture. We're excited to explore it with our friend Anna. Walking from the heart of Granada to the historic Albayacin is one of those experiences where the city slowly reveals its soul step by step. It is not just a walk, but a journey through centuries of history, architecture, and atmosphere, and during these days, with the city preparing for Easter, the experience becomes even more special. You begin in Granada's Zona Centro, where the streets are lively yet elegant, filled with cafes, small shops, and the sound of footsteps echoing over stone pavements. One of the first landmarks you encounter is the beautiful Iglesia de San Matias, tucked quietly among narrow streets. Its Baroque facade stands as a reminder of Granada's transformation after the Reconquista, and inside, preparations for Holy Week can already be felt. Workers carefully arrange candles, and the scent of incense lingers in the air. The city is clearly getting ready for Easter, with processional routes being planned and decorations slowly appearing. Continuing your walk, the streets lead you toward the historic Iglesia de Santo Domingo, located in the Realejo district. This area, once the Jewish quarter of Granada, is full of character. The church, with its impressive interior and peaceful courtyard, feels like a quiet pause before the climb toward the Albayacin begins. Iglesia de Santo Domingo in Granada is a historic church located in the Realejo neighborhood, in Plaza de Santo Domingo. It was founded after the Catholic monarchs conquered Granada and construction began in 1512 as part of the convent of Santa Cruz la Real. The church combines Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque styles, with notable arches and vaults inside and a beautiful entrance with 3 arches and royal symbols of the Catholic monarchs. It is also famous for housing the devotion to the Virgin of the Rosary, co-patron saint of Granada. Walking through the Realejo San Matias in Granada is a charming experience full of history and local atmosphere. This neighborhood, located at the foot of the Alhambra, was once the old Jewish quarter of the city and still preserves its narrow streets, hidden squares, and traditional houses. As you walk, you'll find beautiful spots like Cuarto Real de Santo Domingo, the peaceful gardens of Carmen de los Martires, and the lively Fuente de las Granadas. The neighborhood mixes historic charm with street art, small tapas bars, and quiet viewpoints, making it one of the most pleasant areas to explore on foot in Granada. Museo Casa de los Tiros is a historic 16th-century house museum located in the Realejo neighborhood of Granada. It looks like a small fortress and gets its name from the old muskets and artillery placed on its battlements. Originally built between 1530 and 1540, it belonged to the noble Granada Vanegas family and later became a museum dedicated to the history, traditions, and art of Granada. As you move toward the city center again, you eventually arrive near the Gran Palacio de la Real Chancillería de Granada, an impressive Renaissance building that once housed one of Spain's most important courts. Its elegant facade dominates the square and reminds visitors of Granada's importance during Spain's Golden Age. Nearby, street musicians often play, and locals stroll slowly, enjoying the early spring atmosphere. Just a few steps away, you reach the charming Iglesia de Santa Ana, sitting beautifully beside the Darro River. This church, with its Mudéjar tower and Renaissance entrance, marks the beginning of the climb into the Albayacin. The sound of water flowing beneath the small bridges, mixed with church bells, creates a magical transition between the modern city and the historic hillside. From here, the walk becomes more intimate and atmospheric. Narrow cobbled streets wind upward, whitewashed houses appear, and small plazas invite you to stop and admire the views. The climb can be steep, but every turn reveals something beautiful: hidden gardens, old stone walls, and glimpses of the Alhambra across the valley. Walking through the Albayacin in Granada is like stepping into another century. This ancient neighborhood, perched on a hill facing the magnificent Alhambra, is one of the most atmospheric and unforgettable places in southern Spain. With its narrow winding streets, whitewashed houses, hidden courtyards, and stunning viewpoints, every step through the Albayacin feels like a journey through history. The walk usually begins near the lower streets, often along the beautiful Carrera del Darro, one of the most picturesque streets in Spain. Following the river, you pass stone bridges, old houses leaning over the water, and the dramatic walls of the Alhambra rising above you. Musicians often play softly in the corners, and the sound of flowing water adds a peaceful rhythm to the walk. From there, the climb begins. The Albayacin is famous for its steep cobbled streets, narrow alleys, and sudden turns that reveal hidden squares. As you walk upward, you'll pass small artisan shops, traditional tea houses, and quiet homes with colorful flower pots. The scent of jasmine and orange blossoms often fills the air, especially in spring and summer. One of the highlights of the walk is reaching Plaza Larga, a lively square where locals gather. Here, you'll find small cafes, bakeries, and traditional tapas bars. The atmosphere is relaxed and authentic, far from the busier tourist areas below. It's a perfect place to pause, enjoy a drink, and take in daily life in this historic neighborhood. Nearby stands the Church of San Salvador, built on the site of a former mosque. This is a reminder that the Albayacin was once the heart of Moorish Granada. Walking through the neighborhood, you can still see traces of this past in the architecture, the layout of the streets, and the peaceful hidden gardens. As you continue walking, the path eventually leads to one of the most famous viewpoints in Spain, the Mirador de San Nicolas. Here, the view is simply breathtaking. The Alhambra stands directly across the valley, with the mountains of the Sierra Nevada rising behind it. Street musicians often play guitar, visitors sit along the stone walls, and the atmosphere becomes magical, especially at sunset when the Alhambra turns golden in the evening light. Continuing further, the walk may lead toward the neighboring Sacromonte, famous for its cave houses and flamenco traditions. The path becomes quieter, more rural, and offers even more stunning views of Granada and the surrounding hills. Walking the Albayacin is not just about seeing monuments, but about feeling the soul of Granada. Every corner hides a surprise, every street tells a story, and every viewpoint offers a moment to pause and admire the beauty of the city. It's a place where history, culture, and daily life blend together perfectly. Whether you explore in the morning light, the warm afternoon, or the magical glow of sunset, walking through the Albayzin is one of the most memorable experiences in Granada. It's a neighborhood that invites you to slow down, wander without a plan, and simply enjoy the charm of one of Spain's most beautiful historic quarters. Walking through the Zona Centro of Granada is one of the most enjoyable ways to experience the city. The historic center blends centuries of history, vibrant street life, small traditional shops, and lively plazas, all within a comfortable walking distance. Every corner reveals something different, from Moorish influences to Renaissance architecture, from quiet alleys to bustling squares. Most walks through Granada's center naturally begin around Granada Cathedral, the heart of the city. The Granada Cathedral, officially known as the Metropolitan Cathedral of the Incarnation, is one of the most important Renaissance monuments in Spain and a major symbol of the city of Granada. Located in the historic center, it was built after the Christian reconquest of the city in 1492, on the site of the former main mosque. Construction began in 1523 under architect Enrique Egas, originally planned in Gothic style. Shortly after, Diego de Silo transformed the project into a Renaissance masterpiece, creating a bright and spacious interior with 5 naves, tall columns, and a magnificent circular main chapel, something very unusual for Spanish cathedrals at the time. The cathedral took almost 2 centuries to complete, finishing in 1704. Its main facade, designed by Alonso Cano, features Baroque elements, while the interior remains predominantly Renaissance. Although 2 large towers were originally planned, only one was partially completed, giving the cathedral its distinctive appearance today. Inside, visitors can admire impressive altarpieces, stained glass windows, sculptures, and works of art, along with the Cathedral Museum. The building stands next to the Royal Chapel, making the area one of the most historic and beautiful parts of Granada. The Cathedral of Granada is not only an architectural masterpiece but also a symbol of the transition from Islamic to Christian Granada and one of the most important landmarks in Andalusia. La Madrasa is one of the most historic buildings in Granada. Founded in 1349 by the Nasrid ruler Yusuf I, it was originally the first Islamic university of the city, where law, poetry, medicine, and mathematics were taught. After the Christian conquest in 1492, the building was converted into the town hall, and later became part of the University of Granada. Today, visitors can admire its beautiful Nasrid prayer hall, with intricate plasterwork and Arabic inscriptions, hidden behind a Renaissance facade. Just next to the cathedral, you'll find the Royal Chapel of Granada, where the Catholic monarchs, Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon, are buried. Walking around this area feels like stepping into a defining moment of Spanish history, when Granada marked the end of the Reconquista in 1492. Photography and video recording are not permitted inside the chapel. If you ever visit Granada, we highly recommend visiting the Royal Chapel. Its beauty is immeasurable. The Escuelas Mayores are part of the historic center of the University of Granada, located near Plaza de la Universidad in the heart of Granada. This historic area formed the original core of the university, founded in the 16th century after the Christian conquest of Granada. The buildings were used for teaching subjects such as law, theology, and philosophy, becoming one of the earliest academic centers in the city. Over time, these historic spaces evolved and today form part of the university's central campus, including areas now used by the Faculty of Law. Today, the Escuelas Mayores remain an important symbol of Granada's long academic tradition and its identity as one of Spain's most historic university cities. In the heart of Granada, inside the magnificent complex of the Alhambra, stands the impressive Palace of Charles V, one of the most striking Renaissance buildings in Spain. This palace creates a fascinating contrast with the surrounding Nasrid architecture, telling the story of how Christian Spain merged with the legacy of Al-Andalus. The Palace of Charles V was commissioned by Charles V in the 16th century after the Christian conquest of Granada. The emperor wanted a residence that reflected his power and the importance of the city within his empire. Unlike the delicate Islamic palaces nearby, This building is monumental, symmetrical, and purely Renaissance in style. From the outside, the palace appears as a massive square structure, but once you step inside, you discover its most remarkable feature, a perfectly circular courtyard surrounded by elegant columns on 2 levels. This unusual circular patio is unique in Renaissance architecture and creates a sense of harmony, balance, and grandeur. Walking through the Palace of Charles V feels like stepping into another era. The stone walls, classical columns, and vast open spaces contrast beautifully with the intricate decoration of the nearby Nasrid palaces. The palace was never fully completed as originally planned, yet its presence remains powerful and symbolic. One of these is the Alhambra Museum, located on the ground floor of the palace. This museum displays an exceptional collection of Nasrid art and artifacts discovered throughout the Alhambra complex. Visitors can admire beautiful ceramics, carved wood, plaster decorations, Islamic inscriptions, and delicate architectural fragments. These pieces help bring to life the refined culture that once flourished within the walls of the Alhambra. The museum offers a quiet and educational experience, allowing visitors to better appreciate the artistic brilliance of the Nasrid dynasty. On the upper floor, visitors will find the Museum of Fine Arts of Granada, which houses an important collection of Spanish paintings and sculptures. The artworks range from religious paintings to portraits and sculptures, many of them connected to Andalusian history. The museum provides a different perspective, showing the artistic evolution after the Christian conquest and highlighting Granada's continued cultural importance. Surrounding the Palace of Charles V is the breathtaking Alhambra itself, one of the most visited monuments in Spain and one of the most beautiful historic complexes in the world. The Alhambra was originally built as a fortress and later transformed into a royal palace by the Nasrid rulers. Its walls, towers, courtyards, fountains, and gardens create a magical atmosphere that captivates visitors from around the globe. The Nasrid palaces inside the Alhambra are especially remarkable. Their intricate stucco decorations, Arabic calligraphy, geometric patterns, and peaceful courtyards reflect the sophistication of Islamic architecture. The famous Court of the Lions, with its elegant fountain supported by 12 marble lions, is one of the most iconic spaces. The delicate balance of water, light, and geometry creates a sense of serenity that still impresses visitors today. Beyond the palaces, the Alhambra also includes the Generalife Gardens, once the summer palace of the Nasrid rulers. These gardens offer shaded walkways, fountains, flowers, and spectacular views over Granada and the Sierra Nevada mountains. Walking through these gardens feels peaceful and timeless, especially in the early morning or at sunset. The Palace of Charles V, the museums, and the Alhambra together tell a powerful story of cultural fusion. Islamic, Renaissance, and Christian influences coexist in the same space, creating one of the most unique historical sites in Europe. Visitors can move from delicate Islamic palaces to a grand Renaissance courtyard in just a few minutes, experiencing centuries of history in a single visit. Today, the Alhambra remains a symbol of Granada and a testament to Spain's rich cultural heritage. The Palace of Charles V adds another layer to this story, showing how history evolves and cultures overlap. Visiting these monuments is not just a sightseeing experience, but a journey through time, art, and architecture that leaves a lasting impression on everyone who walks through its ancient walls. We recommend buying tickets to visit the Alhambra in advance. You can do this online. Buying them at the entrance is impossible due to a waiting period that can last for weeks. We regret not being able to film the beautiful Alhambra palaces due to a lack of tickets, but we were able to film around them within the historic complex.